So I haven't done a video in a couple of days or almost a week. The reason is we have ran into some problems and had to have the floor replaced so the refrigerator didn't fall through. So let's go outside for a quick minute before it gets too hot, and I'll show you what's going on so far. We're going to try and make this quick because it's getting hot fast. You guys stay here and be good. I'll be right back. So, with everything else that's going on, we do have a lot of crops that are bolting. The lettuce is bolting and flowering. The zinnias are doing really good yet. I got to pull the rest of these little short and sweet carrots. Spinach we never got to harvest. It started bolting way too fast. The California poppies are doing good. You can see some of these carrots are way overdue to be plucked. We do have some dill. That's the volunteer dill. The nasturtiums are doing beautiful. The chamomile looks pretty good. So that's looking good. Our onions, some of the lettuce is still doing its thing. We harvested a bunch of the parsley yesterday to add to our dinner. So everything's doing good. Here's our other zinnias. They're still flowering. These here are the lettuce that has flowered and went to seed, and it's almost ready to harvest. Now see, it's going to dry up kind of like this and get crunchy. I don't know if you can see. It's got to thin out a hair, and then I will be able to pull it off because it's still rounded and not quite crispy yet. Down here, these are a little bit better. Yep, these are squishy. So those are ready to go. The broccoli, both pieces that did sprout, you can see have critters on them. So basically I'm just letting the critters eat the broccoli. I don't think it's going to put off a head, but it's okay. I mean, it keeps the critters off of everything else. If you can make in there, those are the red scallions. They're still doing good. I'm going to end up plucking them out here before too long. This is the zinnias. I tell everybody, these are the zinnias on drugs. Oh, see, look, there's a little beetle there. Flick him off of there. But these zinnias are ginormous and keep getting top heavy because they're in the tower and they're getting so much nutrients. Let's go ahead and spin this little guy around here. I do have one of our one of our gourmet beets in there still growing. You can see it is starting to form in there, so we're gonna wait and see how that little guy does. Here's what I wanted to show you, the most important part. You can see how the soil is pulling away from the tower. That's because it has gotten so dry that here you can see where I've watered it. You can see the difference here, the moist stuff and the dry stuff, how it's pulling away. That is what you don't want to happen to your soil. And if I can pull this little guy a little bit more, there is our Thai basil. Doing well. It has went to bolt, and that's okay because I harvest all the basil seeds and regrow them. We do have a couple of cosmic carrots. This is a little guy I left in here because he wasn't ready. That guy over there, there he is, wasn't ready. And this is supposed to be crapola. My okra. That's actually one of my okra. I don't know what's going to happen with it or anything, but it's there. Now the paper I put on here because I did reseed a bunch more of the purple cosmic carrots. And that's because they turned out so well and they were so delicious and sweet. I'm just going to turn this back around so most of my soil doesn't dry out, but everything gets a lot of sun. Here we have some of my cherry husk tomatoes I just put in pots last night. And I'm going to take you down to the yard here, since they haven't dug up the yard for the plumbing yet, and show you what we got going on, because I do have to give you an update on that cute little pumpkin. So, there's our other lettuce. That's the curly leaf lettuce. It is flowering. That's supposed to be our bleeding heart. I don't know if it is or if it's a weed or what. Looks like she probably needs a little bit of water. Here's our parsley from in the front yard. It has started to bolt, so we're waiting on that to see what turns out of that. As you can see here, everything has been shifted to the side yard with the dogs. The mint is doing good, sprouting off, and so I'm gonna have to put another bucket down here or something so it does not grow into the yard. That's what we're trying to prevent and keep it good. Here is the first pumpkin. And are you ready for the surprise? There's a new little guy right there. And we did have one up down here. And the camera's not going to focus. But there is one down there, but it dried out. So I put this bottle in there, filled it with water, and it is keeping the soil a little bit more wet, so that's always good. And there is our update on our pumpkin. That's our good size pumpkin. That's the only one we got going right now that's good size and healthy. Onions are still doing good, still bolting. Those are the store-bought onions, remember. And he's so top heavy that he's floppy. We got lots of flowers on this pumpkin, but I don't see any signs of another pumpkin yet. So we're watching for that. I put a bottle in there to keep that soil wet, as you can see. And cucumbers. Are you ready? Here's our first cucumber. Down here we got a baby down in there. And we got some starting here. But there's our fat boy in there. Ain't she pretty? Again, we got that bottle in there. You can see the water level. It's keeping that soil moist because we have got some excruciating heat. Here's another one I put a bottle in so you can see that soil is nice and moist. And we got a couple of potentials down there. And there's our fat boy. So that one will probably be ready to harvest here before another day or so. I want to try and get it a little bit bigger. Here's our last one here. You can see the heat has really dried up a lot of the flowers, so we lost a bunch of them. And there's another potential. He's getting nice and juicy. And there's our little fat boy. And again, we've got a bottle in here full of just water. So cucumbers are doing all right. That's doing really well. You can see it's already getting hot, so we're going to do this quick. Okay, there's our houseplant that has bloomed. I never expected that. Not even sure exactly what it is. It's some sort of a, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's still growing. Here is a volunteer cherry tomato. That was our strawberries, and so was that there. Well, they're not doing good. And this is some sort of a weed that just decided to grow, so I'm letting it grow. Now over here, check it out. Those are our chives, which I definitely have to harvest. And these are our purple tomatillos, and they are full of buds. Got a couple tomatillos growing and a whole bunch more coming. Here was a pot from last year of my cherry tomatoes. And if you can see all the little greenies, I actually just watered it last night because it was pretty dry. But since they're coming up, I've been trying to pluck them out little by little and give them their own pots. So we got plenty of cherry tomatoes. There's our basil. Of course, the key is always grow basil by your tomato plants, tomatillos, and things like that, because the basil keeps the critters, the tomato hornworms, off of your tomato plants. So we'll see how all of that does. These here, surprisingly, this was our sacrifice bucket last year. Let me show you your cute little surprise. There are my adorable little cherry tomatoes, ground cherry tomatoes. So, and there's a bunch of them in here. I'm going to try and work on getting these kind of separated too, so we get plenty. Here's some more basil, and I did plant this year a couple of seeds, which you can see, of the cherry tomatoes, and they are growing. So, there with the basil, and that's going to keep them from getting too many parasites, although these were all out front in the front yard, so they do have a couple of pests or what have you, but we're working on that. These are our peas, which again, the soil has gotten so dry I've had to put bottles with water in there to keep the soil on the inside moistened. Hopefully we'll get a couple of peas. Oh, there's a pod right there. We actually might get a couple more peas. Let me show you these peas. He's really taken a toll, and that's why we put the bottle in there. There's our secondary plant of peas, and I do believe last night I seen, oh nope, no pod yet. There is the, that is the last of the radish. I left that in there so it can flower. You can see here it is putting off seed pods. So if everything goes well, you can probably even see the little sweat bees that are floating around pollinating everything. I'll have plenty of radish seeds for next year, so I'm very excited about that. And these here, guys, are my greeny beanies. Don't have a bottle in there yet, but we're gonna get a bottle in there. And look at them grow. Nice sized greeny beanies. I did harvest a couple of other ones the other day. Here's a big fat juicy one getting ready to be harvested. So we'll be harvesting them before too long as well. Okay, we'll come back and do another video a little bit later when I'm done cooling off and show you the shade tent. But whew, it's getting pretty warm already. So the worst part is that we're trying to keep everything from drying out and having the soil crack and kill all the plants. So that's what we're doing right now. I hope you enjoyed this update, and make sure you give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe. Ooh, we got a breeze. And I'll see you on the next video. Until then, remember, you are someone, you do matter. I love you. Go ahead and try to grow something. It will make you happy. And even if it fails the first time, don't give up. Just keep on keeping on. I mean, I planted a bunch of seeds in this big tower, and a lot of them didn't take. And it could have been the seeds, it could have been a lot of different things, you know. I know that I started a lot of old seeds that I've had for a while. So, and they didn't show up. So they might have been too much, you know. I might not have put enough seeds in there. But we'll figure it out. Anyway, we're going to get off of here. I'm going in. It's way too hot. So, again, remember, I love you. And I will see you on the next video. Until then, ciao now.